pull up at the Health Light, Dr. Williams-Singh's Health Light. Acupuncture physician, food therapist, herbalist, and more. What you're observing on this video is a picture of the human body. The main highlight for this video today is the small intestines. This is not actually showing every fold and every curvature, but it's supposed to highlight the fact that there's a lot of curvature that occurs in the small intestine and what occurs when you're lactose intolerant. Just a quick little overview of the small intestine. The small intestine is the most underrated organ. We're often thinking that it's the large intestines that's in jeopardy. But first, let's look at this. Up here at the very top, you have the duodenum. The duodenum receives juices from the pancreas and also bile. That's supposed to help with the processing and with the digestion of food. So this is one of the first places that a lot of things is happening, such as absorption of nutrients, liquids, and enzyme production. Keep that in mind. So you have the duodenum, you have the drwillium in the center, and then at the very bottom, these just different parts of the small intestines showing where it's located, and the ileum. So in the center is the drwillium. If you don't remember anything, the center is the drwillium, and then the ileum is the last one. And this is where the ileum is connected to the cecum, and the cecum is connected to the large intestines, which is right here. It is approximately 20 to 22 feet, and to be very specific about this, that is when a person's not breathing, when there's no life force. It's approximately 10 feet in length, which is much longer than the large intestine. But it's namely called the small intestine or the small bowel because of the diameter. It's approximately 1 inch or so, something like that. Yeah, as you could see, the microvilli and the villi, it has a lot of curvatures going on. On the inside, this is where a lot of production of enzymes occur to process digestion and absorption of nutrients. You can consider several factors depending on what you're consuming. Is it possible that these foods could get clung and stuck on into these small little crevices and folds? That's one thing. Another thing you could consider is the fermentation that can occur in the large intestines because of the lack of lactase. Lactase is an item that's used to dissolve, and it's used to process, digestively process milk, sugar, and lactose. This occurs more often than not with people who are lactose intolerant. That means the following: any milk substance such as cheese in liquid form, any dairy products for lactose intolerant people, and that's namely black people. The lactase, the enzyme, is diminished in time, like as one ages. For people who are not black, they have the ability to produce lactase, which is the enzymes that's used to process milk. Now, here's what could happen. You could have diarrhea, you could have obstructions, you could have diseases, you could have congenital disorders, you could have ulcers. These are the things that could be procured or could occur due to the small intestines inability of handling certain bombardments of foods in a short period of time. We're going to focus on those who are lactose intolerant, and we're going to mention the things that occur and how this happens where the bacteria is produced in the large intestine. First and foremost, for lactose intolerant people, indigestion occurs because of dairy products. And I already said all the products. Any dairy product, whether it's in a liquid form or whether it's in cheeses or whether it might be even in a cracker, anything that says milk, this is what happens. Due to the lack of lactase, the enzymes that is used and that is produced in the small intestine, indigestion happens because black people are lacking in this particular enzyme. Now, this is very important for lactose intolerant people, but again, the main thing, another thing that one could consider or view is the small intestines and the microvilli and the villi. As you could observe, there are a lot of curvatures going on. Don't you think that maybe that certain things could get hitched up in these little crevices? Especially like, say, the cheeses, because the lack of the enzymes to break down certain or all these dairy products. Here are the symptoms that you could have. The symptoms such as abdominal cramps, you could have diarrhea, you could have bloating. There are a number of things that occur, but most significantly important is bacterial fermentation of lactose. Again, when I say lactose, I'm referring to any dairy products in the colon, because as I said earlier, the small intestines, after it goes through the duodenum, the drwillium, and the ileum, there's a connection with the cecum into the large intestine. And because of the lack of the enzymes to break down these dairy products and turn it into some kind of nutritional value, you've got a lot of bacterial fermentation going on there. The small intestine is also viewed as a small bowel. Small, not necessarily small in length, but small in diameter. It is so small in diameter that this is where so much work is going on, especially, and I'm highlighting today only the enzyme of lactase, the production of a lactase in order to process and digest milk substances. It is just not there for people who are black. The lactase is available for people who are not black. We're speaking about phenotype. We're speaking about genetics. We're talking about DNA and health. That's what we're speaking about. There is a production of lactase that does not interfere with the ability to produce the enzyme for the adults who are not black. Just to be clear about this. The small intestines, again, the highlight today is about dairy products and being lactose intolerant. And yes, there are a lot of products out there that says for lactose intolerant people, but take a look at what they use in order for you to choose that. If dairy products is so important. Just take a look at it and you be the best judge whether if it's important or not to consume milk or dairy products. In closing, not only is the small intestine largely responsible for absorption of nutrients, it also connects to your blood supply, your arteries, your hepatic portal vein, your lymphatic system. Your small intestines is doing a lot of work. We're going to cover the small intestines in another way for the next video. Come back to the Health Light, touch the like, and leave a comment in the comment section. We greatly appreciate your support.